Hello everyone and welcome to one another episode of weekly sectoral analysis. So last week what we saw, especially in the last 2 days, has probably distorted all the charts, and the way it corrected was very bad, because what happened on 5th, 6th and 7th was still okay, because we saw an up move from here, we retraced, then we saw one another up move, we had a higher high. And then thank you, Mr. Donald Trump, by his announcement. We have two big red candles which have closed below the previous low. And now once again, we have a type of market where we are making lower lows. Although we still don't have a lower high, but at least lower lows start ho chuke hain. Is the trend down in the daily time frame chart? The answer is yes. The momentum is also down. In the weekly time frame chart, although the trend is still up, momentum has lost. It's on the downside. So generally, when it's a time when the trend is up, momentum is down, it's not a very good environment to make money for short-term traders. So that is the first thing which you need to understand. Now, when markets correct, the next thing which a trader tries to find out is where is the next best support. According to me, the immediate support in the weekly time frame chart is here. It's at 25,596. And if you see, I have tried to extend this small swing on the downside, which is giving us a support somewhere at 25,574. So from 25,574 to 25,595, 594 is a small short-term support. All right. Bank Nifty has yet not been that much affected in comparison to Nifty, but still I would say things are not looking that great. The trend is down in the daily time frame chart. The momentum is losing fast. Although as per Dow theory, we are still maintaining a higher high and a higher low formation, because this is the previous high, and this is the recent high, this is the previous high over here, this is the low. So still higher high, higher low chal raha hai, but with the momentum getting lost, it's a very tricky situation. Even the candle which has been made over here is a dark cloud cover, which means if we combine these two candles, it is a negative candle. It's a dark cloud cover. And one more thing which is very, very important to understand, that we were already at an important resistance. If I'm extending this move on the upside, you will be able to see that we were already at a resistance. So 60,300, 60,320, 350, which I also shared on my Twitter handle and also shared in my previous weekly sectoral analysis video. Exactly from there, Bank Nifty has turned down. It has taken a U-turn. So this is very, very important. Now, where is the next best support? For the next best support, I think in short term, it is somewhere at 58,825 and probably somewhere at 58,700. If you want, I'll just actually mark it for all of you and even for myself, somewhere in this zone. तो हम यहाँ पे इनको numbers दे देते हैं. 58,825 and 58,700. So now this is a short-term support. It's pretty deep for short-term traded. It's pretty deep, I know, but since the resistance has come in the Bank Nifty chart from the weekly time frame chart, I have taken slightly deeper. If you want to understand where is the next extreme short-term support in daily chart, तो ये वाला है, which is at 59,090 or something. But is it very strong? I don't think so, because the way markets are falling, I don't think so. This is a very, very strong support. Now going ahead in PSU banking space, PSU banking space are holding pretty well, considering they have also tested a resistance in the weekly time frame chart. We can also see some negativity in the RSI. The momentum is losing faster in the daily time frame charts. So as a trader, will I try to probably buy this pullback or probably wait a bit longer? If we get somewhere here, then maybe it's something which we need to see, but it will also depend how the overall market reacts. Only then, otherwise avoid. Private banking space, again, private banking space is now looking a bit jittery. The reason for that is all the way from here, private banking space was the one which should have shot up. It had the power, it had the momentum, it had the weightage in indices, but it refused to do so. And now it is showing lack of strength, lack of momentum to go higher. RSI is making lower lows. Our price is making, RSI is making lower highs. Price is making higher highs. And along with that, we do also have a dark cloud cover if we combine the last 2 weeks candles. So overall, not a good sign. This recent low over here, this low and this low is an important area. Oil and gas sector, if you remember, oil already मैंने last week बोला था that it is a good sector. Index के हिसाब से it's a good sector. But the problem is that only 2 to 3 stocks were performing. And I think the large cap stock in this index, Reliance, did fall badly, and maybe a few other stocks might have corrected as well. And this exactly happened, I think, after US did attack Venezuela. I mean, does it have any connection or not? Frankly, I don't watch that much of news, to be very frank, but technically, yes, now it's looking a bit jittery. We are at the 50% retracement of this entire uptrend, and this candle is really, really bad. In the daily time frame charts, the trend is down, and the next best support comes at 11,468. Autopack. Autopack, I should say the way it has fallen, it's still better in comparison to the other sectors. Trend-wise, it's up, no doubt about that. Momentum is still holding on, I should say. Daily chart is also better as it's not very, very away from the moving averages on the downside. It's still better, and it's near important supports. Now, in case if Nifty bounces back, in case, will I have a look at this sector? Probably the answer is yes. I'm not saying that I'll go long over here, but मैं एक नजर जरूर रखूंगा इसके ऊपर. Consumer durables. Now, consumer durables is trying really hard, and also did try really hard in the last few weeks to take a U-turn. Even over here, you can see in the daily time frame chart, shot up, came down, shot up. Again, it came down, it has corrected. Now, the same region from where it was getting resistance, अभी यहाँ पे इसको support मिलेगा. So, in case if this particular zone is not broken, if we bounce from here, and if the weekly time frame chart improves, then consumer durables as a sector will start improving. But the problem is, understand one thing, problem is generally the consumer durables and the FMCG as a sector both are little bit similar, and FMCG is looking very, very negative. So you'll have to be a little bit cautious when you take your stance on the consumer durables. Now the consumption pack. Now, in the consumption pack, things were trying to improve, but the daily chart never showed its strength. And this same zone, which I've been sharing with all of you since last few weeks, it acted as a resistance, and the trend and the momentum is now down in the weekly time frame chart, and even the daily time frame chart is looking weak. It's a very weak sector, to be very frank. So the view remains bearish. Finance pack, very, very strong sector, but the way it has fallen, God save it, to be very frank. And this is the support band somewhere over here, 27,244, 27,141. I think few days back also you can see it did fall down, went up, came down. It did try to break, but it could not. It shot up pretty nicely. And when it was here, it was looking very strong. Probably if the negative statement would not have gone, it would have gone up. But now it seems that it's knocking back at the door. Ek Gana tha, one of my favorite songs, probably of one of my favorite rock bands, Knocking on Heaven's Door. it's like now it's knocking on the hell's door. So if this is broken, you'll see the particular sector going down. FMCG pack. FMCG pack, it was in a consolidation zone over here. Try to bounce back, try to bounce back, try to bounce back. Was it successful initially? The answer is yes, but finally it broke. And overall, first it gave a bigger pullback, it gave a smaller pullback, and overall the trend is down, momentum is down, and the sector is overall weak. In fact, there were few stocks which were performing nicely. कुछ ऐसे stocks थे जो अच्छी तरह से perform कर रहे थे. Now probably even they have paid the price because ITC, which is the heavyweight stock, and the FMCG as an index is going down. IT pack, one of the strongest sectors, even stronger than the PSU Banks recently. The trend is up. Momentum is also fine, no problem. In fact, over here we have a high wave candle. High wave candle is something like this. Understand, like this. It'll go up, it'll go down and close in between. So overall what you will see over here is choppiness. As a trader, yes, it will irritate you. You will not be able to make money. ये सब चीजें होंगी. But generally, when trend is up, momentum is up, and we have a retracement in the price. And in case if we are at a support, which we are near to a support, not at the support exactly, near a support, this high wave candles generally means that the IT pack is overstretched on the downside. Does it look the same in the daily chart? The answer is no, but this is what the weekly chart is trying to tell us. Now, the IT pack is very, very choppy. Today is 10th of Jan, and probably since 13th or 14th of Jan, I think all the results in the IT pack will start. So you'll have to be very, very careful in case if you want to participate in these stocks. Generally, as a swing trader, as a short-term momentum trader, I tend to avoid such trades until and unless I'm extremely, extremely confident about it. All right? Because IT stocks do have a history of, behaving very rudely if the results come a little bit here and there in comparison to the expectations. Infra pack, one of the very, very stronger sectors initially. Now it's going down. The trend is down now as the price is below moving averages. Price is also at the 50% retracement. This cluster is also an important support for the weekly time frame chart. Trend also is down in the daily time frame chart. Momentum is also down. So overall, I think things are not looking that great for the infra pack. Metals, on the other hand, as a sector is much better. It is showing its strength. It's showing its uptrend. It's showing the momentum, everything. And the correction, I think, which we saw over here, many people will say that it happened because the global prices in the metal sector did fall. Probably could have happened, but even as a sector, if you see, it had rallied way too much, way too fast. So this correction was supposed to happen. Only thing is it did happen in just one single day very fast. So I think as a trader, it should consolidate a bit, and then after that, if it seems fine and if the entire market seems fine, maybe, I'm using the word maybe, I would be interested. But again, as a trader, I will not simply jump on just one single sector which is looking powerful. मैं पूरा market study करना चाहूँगा, all the sectors where the price is moving, and then I will take my bets. Okay. Pharma pack remains a tough nut to crack. The trend is up. Momentum is slipping down slowly, and it's still up, but it's slipping. You saw a pretty sharp run up over here. You saw one of the stocks shooting up like Sun Pharma, and it coming down. So again, I'm saying it's very tough nut to crack. There have been stocks which have performed pretty nicely, which stayed sideways for a pretty long point of time, and then they have shot up. If you just go through the ingredients, if you go to the constituents of the pharma pack, you will understand. So it remains as an outperformer in comparison to other sectors which have fallen recently, but still not a very, very easy nut to crack. PSE sector, I would like to wait out, to be very frank. It's like down, pullback, huge pullback down. I mean, two candles back to back, big red candle, big green candle. Very difficult for me to assess anything from the weekly time frame chart. The daily time frame chart, although is readable, it has shot up. It has given a sharp pullback. Now it is at a zone from where it can go higher. But the problem is if the selling pressure is way too heavier, which is visible right now in the markets, then these supports can be broken very easily. So I think as a trader, मैं थोड़ा सा wait करना चाहूँगा and probably wait out for the next 4-5 days and then take a decision what view I want to have on this sector. Realty Pack, frankly speaking, it was trying to, have higher highs, higher lows, and in fact, it had taken a very good up move too. It also had 2 to 3 hammers over here, but the displacement of the moving averages was not improving in the weekly time frame chart. And if you see, the weekly time frame chart per se was not that great looking chart in comparison to the daily time frame chart, and it has paid its prices. And it was an overall weaker sector and it will continue to remain so. All right. So the view is on the downside. Now, India Defense. India Defense is trying really hard. Couple of hammers, big hammers. A candle with a wick on the upside, which means selling pressure. Again a hammer. Now again a candle with a wick on the upside. So it's a constant battle between bulls and bears. Not easy to speak about it, but so far I can say that things are trying to improve over here in this sector. Will it be able to weather the storm which is visible in the overall global markets and especially in Indian markets? I think we'll need to wait out for the next week and only then say, because what has happened over here is I can't see any big red candle over here. Yes, I can see couple of candles with a big wick on the upside, but I cannot see such big red candles. So that is a good thing. But again, we do have a short-term resistance over here, which is putting pressure. So थोड़ा सा मुझे लगता है wait करना चाहिए यहाँ पे before jumping onto any conclusion. Generally, my friends, what happens is when markets do fall a lot very fast in a couple of days, everyone wants to have a view. क्या view लगता है? किधर जाएगा market? ऊपर जाएगा, नीचे जाएगा, किधर support है? But if it's very volatile, if it has moved way too faster, at times it is also important to wait out a little bit, because what can happen is it can shake out the weak hands and then again bounce back. Anything can happen. Or maybe the support can be broken and it continues to move on the downside. So rather than taking view which you are not confident at, it's better to wait out and then take a confirmed view. All right. Midcaps. Midcaps was improving actually, and now it has again, shown a very big red candle which has engulfed its previous candles. Not a good news according to me. Broken this low also. If we break this zone in midcaps, I think again the overall way the midcap space had evolved in the last few weeks will be destroyed and it will start looking very weak. All right, so I think next week will be important. And overall, if I just talk about the market and Nifty and everything, yes, things have been distorted in the last few days. And it's not going to be easy for the markets to bounce back, because we can also see signs of lack of momentum. And momentum is a very important point as a trader. If you want to make money, only trend is not important. Momentum is also important, which is missing over here. So it's not going to be easy. As a derivatives trader, to be very frank, would I like to probably have a negative view on the markets or take shorter positions in the market? The answer is, for me, it is no. For you, I don't know. I'm just sharing my view. The reason is, if I'm going to take a trade from the daily time frame chart, then I need to have my weekly time frame chart also in a downtrend and with a downside momentum, which is not visible because the trend is still up. It's weak, but it's still up. So as a trader, I will possibly wait out. All right. So be careful in the markets for the next few weeks. Trade less, trade wisely. Thank you.